Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show. Now today is New Year's Eve. Tomorrow will be calendar year 2018. So if you're watching this at approximately 3:15 p.m. New York City time, this is a live show. So anything that you choose to say within the video's comments. SoCal Seth says, "What's up, IrixGuy? Knock and scratch, knock and scratch." Yep. Yeah, so this is just kind of a little kickoff. You can see, Times Square in the background here. I'm getting geared up for the big show, which obviously the ball does not drop until tonight. But, to give everybody kind of a heads up, I got out on the street and decided I'd do me a little Build the Pump live show, because this evening, stay tuned to my channel, stay tuned to your smartphone, your computer, or whatever, because this evening you should see an alert pop up that will be the New Year's Eve live show here on the IrixGuy's Adventure channel. So be sure not to miss that. It's going to be a very formal show. Obviously you can have a good time, but it's going to be a very formal live broadcast. Whereas this, I'm just wearing some gym clothes and getting ready to get all that together this evening. So. Without further ado, a few things I did want to talk about during this live show is virtual reality, VR cameras, 360, spherical, whatever you want to call it. Those cameras, they work well. How cold is it? Not too cold. But it's going to be cold tonight, so wear your coat. B. Hendo says, "Happy New Year's, looking forward to the 2018 DJI announcement." Hey man, you're not the only one. 2018. If DJI does not deliver in 2018, I'm going to be a very disappointed person. I'm sure you will be too. I'm sure there'll be a ton of disappointed people if DJI doesn't hurry up and deliver. Dark Horse says, "Happy New Year and very best to you in 2018. Same to you, man. Thanks to you. Thanks to everyone. Keeping this channel churning. Really growing. We've surpassed 55,000 subscribers, getting very close to 39 million video views. And those are small numbers. I mean, this channel's got to get a lot bigger than that. Got to get past 100 million video views very soon. And obviously past the 100,000 subscribers very soon. So, anybody that you're out at a New Year's Eve celebration, wherever you may be, just say, hey, you need to subscribe to this guy. Because 2018 is going to be the year. I don't think it's unrealistic to say that in 2018 that surpassing 100,000 subscribers would not be doable. I think it is doable with your help and the help of many, to just go out and spread the word and subscribe, like, and share. SoCal says 70s in Arizona. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's warm, man. So, obviously getting hydrated with H2O for the New Year's Eve. Got to make sure that got plenty of hydration there. Never forget about water. You got to stay hydrated. So yeah, so it's amazing. This has been a great year, 2017. A lot of stuff has definitely occurred. Negative 35 in Canada. Wow, man. That kind of weather, when I think of Canada and cold weather, I think of poutine. If you've never had poutine, it's just French fries and gravy with cheese curds in it. And that's some of the best stuff. You know what? I just realized my mic's on the other side of the studio. That makes me sound pretty dumb. Y'all are probably wondering why the audio was so muffled. It's because I failed to put the mic on the desk here. Okay, now that should be a lot better. You should hear me a lot better here. SoCal Seth said, "We had a 90-degree Thanksgiving and 80-degree Christmas." Wow. That is. Yeah, Dark Horse says, "All filming indoors." Yep, this is just warming up for the live event, because tonight's live event, I will be on the streets. I will be on the streets in New York City, so it's going to be a fun show. Not to interfere with y'all's New Year's Eve plans, because that's that would be unacceptable. But you know, like all live shows that I host on this channel, you can watch the previously recorded version. Just go to IrixGuy.com, and you can find them all there, so you won't miss out. And, you know, keep in mind, you got a mobile device. You can pop that out wherever you are, and you can watch. Take some headphones, because I'm sure if you're out partying, it'll probably be pretty loud. So you can still tune in live, comment live, or just watch the previously recorded show if you choose to do so. Yeah, so yeah, VR cameras. I've really enjoyed that Samsung 360 VR, and actually yesterday I took it out in the field, got some incredible videos, and you know, just really good looking videos. And I came back to my studio to download those videos, and much to my surprise, the videos were, even though the camera indicated that it was still recording, a lot of the videos were cut very short. When I mean short, I had videos that were 7 minutes in duration. Some of them were 10 seconds. The rest of them, the best one I got was about 1 minute out of a 7-minute clip. So long story short, I don't know, and again, I didn't subject the Samsung Gear 360 to any sort of environmental or physical damage, you know, water dropping, whatever. But it just, much to my surprise, it started to fail, and I really love that camera because it was 4K, obviously not super duper high quality 4K like a Sony Alpha, but it was 4K in VR. So now that's put me back on the path. I've got to find the GoPro Fusion. Although I love GoPro, the Fusion is unfortunately a little bit. Let me turn this key light down a little bit. Turn this down just a little bit here. Does that look? I think the problem is that lighting, I was getting a little bit overexposed. Am I too dim now, or does it look better? What's the? Do you think I need to turn that light down a little bit more, or do you think it's bright enough, or is it still too bright? Do you think you're going to convert to Samsung? You know, nothing against Samsung. I love my Samsung refrigerator. And I got the Samsung refrigerator because it had 2 ice makers. One in the bottom where the freezer is, and one in the top. And my justification to buy that refrigerator/freezer combo was that, you know, one ice maker is inevitably going to fail. It happens with every refrigerator, unfortunately. So sure enough, after owning that Samsung refrigerator for a few years, the ice maker up top that distributes the ice into a glass, it failed. I wish the other one had failed, because now I've got to go into the freezer ice maker in the Samsung, get my ice out of there with a scoop and put it in my glass, which I would have much rather that one had broken instead of the one up top. Samsung makes good stuff. I've had Samsung computer speakers. I've had Samsung thing for my TV, you know, that speakers go in, the receiver, and Samsung speakers that go with it for home theater. And I've been happy with Samsung, but I just think that as far as phones are concerned, I like the iOS experience because I'm a Mac user on the desktop and also on laptop, and it just makes sense that my smartphone is also an Apple device. So I don't think I'll convert to Samsung. Now, like I was saying with the VR camera, the Samsung 360 VR, I was enjoying that camera until I encountered that catastrophic filming issue the other day. And fortunately, you know, the locations where I was filming, I'll be easily able to go out and capture that footage again. But had I been filming something that was, you know, like a one-time occurrence or whatever, and I thought that I'd captured the opportunity on video, but I didn't, that would have been very disappointing. So it's I don't know. So that leads me to figure out, and I don't know if any of y'all have messed with the Ricoh Theta V or Theta 5, I don't know how they pronounce it, or the Yi, or I may have mispronounced Yi, YI company has a new 360-degree camera, and the Yi, I think, does 5.7K. Dark Horse says, I really like iPhone 7 Plus with the Filmic Pro app for video. I gotta check that. I haven't checked out that app. Filmic Pro app. I loaded that up. I'm gonna have to check that out. Filmic Pro. So what all can you do VR? It's amazing. 200 megabits per second, 4K. Yeah, that is amazing. Filmic Pro. I just went to the app description. Oh, so it's an alternative to the. Let's see. It's an alternative to using the built-in iOS video app. Oh, it unlocks the choose focus, exposure, and unlocks the phone's hidden features. That is important, you know, especially when you're traveling with just with only your smartphone and you need to get some quality video. That's very cool. I think either you or another viewer mentioned Filmic Pro during a previous live show, so it's definitely something I've got to check out here. Yeah, we're gonna get we're gonna do this New Year's Eve right here on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. So, you know what I want to do, and I'm gonna see if this comes through properly because I haven't tried it before. But what I'm gonna try is to get to schedule the live show. I've got to look at my calendar to see. Oh, excuse me. Which time should be optimal for hosting the live show. So, you know, if I can get the schedule thing to work through my live streaming software, hopefully I can go ahead and get that invite out. Because like this show that you're watching right now, this was something I just fired up and I said go live. So there was no sort of advanced warning that I was going to be going live. So I'm hoping that if I can get out after this live show concludes, if I can send out a formal upcoming YouTube live event notification, I think that'll be really cool. So I'm going to work on that, and stay tuned. Hopefully it'll pop up for you. YouTube's changed their live streaming interface a lot. I like their live streaming interface, but one of my points of confusion, and not so much now because it's a better user experience, but in the past, if you saw some of my really old YouTube live events, I was using Hangouts on Air, which was a cool program. It was provided by Google, but it was an interface that I could use to control the live shows. It was a piece of software that would enable me to interact with others and go live on YouTube. Now I use a product that I purchased, and it was somewhat expensive, but I think it's been worth every penny. It's Wirecast, and that's what I'm using right now. But what I've got to figure out, utilizing Wirecast and the YouTube live streaming scheduling interface, is how to schedule that event so that you get the YouTube notification in advance. But then when I go live, everything's going to work through my Wirecast. So hopefully I'll get that set up correctly. If for some reason that fails and you don't receive the live event notification, you know, it's my objective to host that live show sometime before midnight New York City time, Eastern time in the United States. So we will be having another live show today. But what is going into 2018? Is there something from a technological perspective other than drones that's caught your curiosity? Because I know there's VR is just. I want to be super excited about VR, and I want to get another VR camera. But since my Samsung Gear aired out on me, obviously I had to send that back for a refund. So now I'm like, do I get the Ricoh Theta V, which does not have a user replaceable battery? It does not have a user replaceable micro SD card. It does not have a user replaceable battery. but the stitching on the Theta V looks really good? Or do I go with the Yi, which it's even got better? I think it's 5.7K, but it does have a user replaceable battery, micro SD card. It uses USB-C connector on it, which is nice. But from what I've seen online, and I don't know if this is something that will be, and I never like to buy a device with the expectation that something will be addressed within an upcoming firmware update. But one of the things I've seen online with looking at the Yi 360 videos is the stitching isn't as good as, say, a GoPro Fusion, which GoPro Fusion, I'm not going to spend $700 this early on for a VR camera. I mean, it looks like it's a good camera, but I can't be an early adopter of that just because of the price point. I think it's ridiculous. But the Yi, the thing I've seen with it, if you're like, so if the camera's like this, there's one of the lenses here, there's one of the lenses here, but if you're standing right at the end, it won't stitch. It won't stitch you to where it looks seamless. So that's kind of a problem. Now the Theta V, from what I've seen with it, the stitching looks good, but then again with it, you've got the drawback of there's no user replaceable battery or storage card. So if you're planning to get a lot of VR clips, you're limited to how much you can have retain on that device. Now, looking at it from another perspective, I guess that could be a positive because everything's going to be it should be perfectly optimized to function together. And if you're carrying your smartphone or other device that you're downloading the captured content to, I don't guess that having that smaller internal storage would be that huge of an issue, because you would just film and then offload, format, and then film again. But it's still, sometimes I like the flexibility of just throwing in a very large micro SD card, having an extra battery or two, and not having to worry about swapping out the micro SD card. If anything, I just swap the batteries. But that's my workflow with larger cameras, so maybe that's not necessary for a VR spherical camera. Maybe I'm just too picky, but I like to, and I also like to assume if something breaks, what are the chances that that I can potentially resolve the issue myself. When you've got an all-in-one unit that has the storage and the battery and all that built in, if the battery and or storage fails, then you're likely tasked with getting a brand new unit. Whereas if your battery failed in another device, it was user replaceable battery, you may be able to just get another battery and resolve the issue. The same goes for the internal storage if it was micro SD, if it was user removable. So, I don't know. Inevitably, anyone that's doing VR, virtual reality right now, we're all early adopters, and there's a limited amount of consumer level VR cameras, and I don't want a camera on this channel that's just total garbage video quality. I want to step up from that, but obviously being an early adopter for VR, I don't want to sink a lot of funds into it. I want something that's better than what I have, the LG that I have, and you can check out several of my LG VR videos. They're pretty good quality, but they're not, the video quality is very poor. But it's better than just proof of concept. But I want something that's a step up from that, almost as good as 4K. If I can get something almost as good as 4K with a traditional camera, then that would be perfect. Because then I've got something I can edit and learn with. B Endo says, did you see DJI's Instagram post regarding hype for their new products in 2018? I did not. But that's interesting. Thanks for the heads up here, DJI. Hopefully they'll bring something out that's good. Let's see. Let me pull that up from my phone here and check it out. A Dark Horse says VR is cool, but I think a drone will come first. Yeah, I think you're right. I think let's see. That's crazy. I must be blind. I'm not seeing. So did they elaborate what the what we might see? I mean, obviously, I know that we know what we should see in 2018, and that's the Phantom 5 and or Mavic Pro 2. But did they suggest what we may see? Yeah, VR needs more time for sure. That was weird. I don't think y'all lost my live stream, but I had so I got several pieces of equipment that I'm using to broadcast this. The heavy lifting is going on an iMac with Retina 5K display, but then here on my desk, I've got the MacBook Pro. And for some reason I lost the MacBook Pro. Thought that the live stream was off, but the live stream wasn't out. I will say though, that's one area where we've seen a lot of technological improvement is with YouTube live streaming. I mean, in 2017, it's become a lot more consistently reliable, and that's important. Yeah, and it makes me wonder, with DJI's acquisition of Hasselblad, why wouldn't they give us a really high-end VR camera? It makes me wonder, why has DJI completely avoided the VR hype? I mean, do they think it's going to be a failed technology? Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that a company such as Apple just embraced VR very heavily with Final Cut Pro 10. Was it version 10.3 that just came out that does the spherical editing? Why would Apple add that to their video editing suite if Apple felt that there wasn't a future for VR? It really doesn't make sense. Dark Horse says, actually, Bhendo says, I cannot get my iPhone to give me the option when I live stream. Oh, if you can't live stream, now keep in mind, so if you've got the most current YouTube app on your, I'm going to see if I can help you out here. So if you've got the most current YouTube app on your iPhone, that's step number one to do live stream. But there's also a step, and if you haven't, so if you're logged in from your computer's, your desktop or laptop computer, and you log into YouTube, there's a setting you've got to go to. Let me see here. And YouTube always moves this around. But if you're logged into YouTube from your desktop computer and you go into Creator Studio, that little icon at the top right, and you do Creator Studio, and then off to the left you'll see Creator Studio, you'll see Dashboard, Video Manager, Live Stream, and Community, and then you should see something that says Channel. And underneath Channel you should see something that says Status and Features. Now within Status and Features, there's probably something listed there that says Live Streaming, and it's probably going to say enabled or disabled. And again, this interface constantly changes, but if it's like it was in the past, and again, I enabled live streaming on YouTube a long time ago, but if it's like it used to be, you've probably got to go into there, enable live streaming, and have that enabled. You know, YouTube accept the live stream, the enabling of live streaming before you're able to see it from your from the most current version of the YouTube app within your YouTube app on your iPhone. And can you do live YouTube live stream and not save it to your channel? Let me see if there's an option. I'm thinking there's an option in there. Let me look. See if well, there is an option like where I'm streaming right now. So keep in mind I'm using Wirecast when I did the intro and the outro. When I did the intro, and I will do the outro portion of my live show, I'm using Wirecast to deliver that content. But from my laptop right here, what I'm doing on it is I'm connected to within Creator Studio and the YouTube, you know, logged into YouTube through my web browser. I go to live streaming and stream now, and that's where I'm seeing your comments and some other settings. One of those settings while I'm live streaming is there's basic info, stream options, monetization, and cards. When I go to stream options, there is an option which I've left unchecked, but it says make archive unlisted when complete. So if you made your archive unlisted, in theory, what that would seem to suggest is that if someone wanted to do a live show, but after the live show concluded, they didn't want it to become a public video, that it would make it unlisted. So that would probably be the way to do it. So if you didn't want to keep a live stream, if you live streamed and you didn't want people to see it after it concluded, if you did that unlisted when complete, then in theory that should make it to where only people that you shared that unlisted link with would be able to see it. And then that video within your video manager, if you wanted to just delete it altogether, I'm sure you probably could. I've never deleted any of my live shows. Actually, I may have some that I had technical malfunctions. I think I deleted some of those. So it was, you know, once it appears within Video Manager, at least for me, it was just treated like a regular video. And I could delete it, make it private, make it unlisted, whatever I wanted to do. Roger says, hi from the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean. Very cool. Welcome aboard. And that's one of those islands in the Caribbean I've got to go to. I've still not been to the DR, and it looks super incredible. So welcome aboard, man. But yeah, this live streaming is interesting for sure. So yeah, we're about 30 minutes in, and what I want to do, I'm super stoked about the New Year's Eve live show, which obviously is tonight. So stay tuned for the invitation. Again, if I can make it appear before I go live, I'm going to do that. That way, hopefully, everybody will have a little bit more, you know, advance notice before the live show goes live. But it's my expectation that I want to do it. I'm guessing probably. I'm going to pull up my calendar here, and I'll be able to give y'all a ballpark. Let's see. I'm thinking I'll probably do it around just looking at my calendar of events. Probably do it around 9 p.m. New York City time. That's when I think I'm going to do it. So stay tuned. Roger says, what do you think DJI will have for 2018? We're waiting for Phantom 5 or Mavic with better sensor. Well, it's my expectation in 2018 from DJI for sure. You know, at a minimum, we should have Phantom 5 and or Mavic Pro 2. But, you know, they could always surprise us with something new. But, I mean, they've, except for seeming to neglect VR, virtual reality, DJI's kind of covered pretty much everything. I mean, they've covered the very small drone with the Spark. They've covered the, you know, the kind of in-between size with the Mavic Pro. And then their bread and butter, which is the Phantom. So I think, we'll probably see a more pro level Phantom 5. Maybe it has modular camera option, this, that, and the other. But I think definitely with Mavic Pro 2, I mean, we've got to get a camera that's as good or better than the Phantom 3 Pro. And we just don't have that. To your point, it needs a bigger sensor. I think a Mavic Pro 2 camera with a 1-inch sensor would be a game changer. And hopefully they can do away with that tap to focus requirement. That has really irritated me. It irritated me with the Mavic Pro. It irritated me with the Phantom 4 Pro. But, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, SoCal Seth made a good point. Hopefully improvements on the Osmo, too. Yeah, Osmo is one of those weird things. It's like, DJI releases the Osmo, but then they're like, you know what? We're also going to release Osmo Mobile, where you can just use your iPhone or your Android phone, which that seemed to be uncharacteristic of DJI's new business model. Because initially the Phantoms, you could use a third-party camera, you could use a GoPro, but then DJI said, oh, we're going to be the camera manufacturer too, so they cut that out. The fact that DJI released an Osmo and then released an Osmo Mobile that would let somebody use a different camera, their smartphone, the camera in their smartphone, was kind of weird. So, yeah, I'd like to see a really nice, maybe even a waterproof and ruggedized Osmo. I think that would be really cool. Better yet, a spherical VR camera from DJI. I'd love to have that. It's hard for one to argue when, when DJI comes out with a new product, it's usually very, very high tech, ahead of the pack. So if they release a VR camera, I think we'll really enjoy using it. But anyway, I'm going to get things geared up for this evening's live show. So go ahead and try to tune in and keep an eye out. Like I said, it'll probably be around. Let me check again here. Keep myself organized. It'll probably be around. Yep, probably around 9 o'clock. Around 9 o'clock New York City time. Yeah, it's very true. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. This live show is going to be just a little bit short, just because I'm doing that live show tonight. So stay tuned. Thanks for your viewership. Be sure to subscribe and tell everybody there's going to be a big live show here for New Year's Eve. Thanks for watching, and see y'all in a few hours. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.